Turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro Electro Tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Greetings, I'm Retrobot. Today, we will be opening a package from a customer. To make sure it arrived undamaged, let's make it happen. Let's see if I can jump off the box. Here I go. Oh crap.
Okay then. You will all be happy to know that Retrobot did not sustain any serious injury during his jump, his attempt at being a stunt bot. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Obviously I'm going to do an unboxing of this package that was shipped in by a customer in Oklahoma. And what's contained within, I believe, he told me that there's a Micromatic Imperial turntable in here that was pulled from a console. I don't think he has the console. I think he may have purchased this turntable. There's no console. I think he's going to have a custom base or plinth, whatever, built for it. So that will be pretty cool. You know, if the console's not around anymore, or you know, it was damaged or whatever, then you know, it is what it is. But the turntable survives, and you know, it's going to be put back into use. If I can get this thing restored, that's what he wants me to do. I know there's some problems based on what he told me. There's some things that are messed up with it, and so let's just get this thing out of the box. Hopefully everything was padded well. Obviously nothing has been opened up. I like to do that on camera just in case, and you know, if there's any serious damage that a piece of equipment sustains during shipping, I like that to be revealed on camera. And so it's all sealed up, and the good thing is the box doesn't look like it's had, you know, the crap kicked out of it or anything. It doesn't look beaten up, so that's good. So anyways, let me go ahead and get the utility knife and start getting this thing opened up, and we'll see what awaits within. And additionally, if I can, in this video I will try to do a cursory function test, get some power to it, and you know, see if at least the platter rotates, whatever the case, and if there's any cycling or whatever. So again, let's see what awaits. Okay, so here we are. We got paper. All right, let's see. We got some. Wow. We got some serious paper padding going on here. Ooh yeah. Oklahoma style. All right. There you go. All right. And we have our specimen in here. So what I'm going to do here is just get the camera out of the way for just a second, and then just get this unwrapped from the bubble wrap, this and that, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the condition. Okay, so here we have a nice looking Imperial Micromatic, and I like the textured plate there. Let me kind of tilt it so you can kind of see that ribbed texture on the plate. Pretty cool. And anyways, it also has this gold foil here on the center of the platter. I believe this is from, let me see, yeah, it looks like it's the 50th week of 1961. And yeah, here's our 45 adapter here. Everything seems to be intact. I do notice that there is some rub on the platter. I'm sure you can hear that. Have to lift the platter, of course. I'm going to do that, see what's going on. And let me go ahead and get some padded blocks down on the bench here so I can flip it over and kind of take a look at things real quick. So here we are on the underside, of course, and this video here, I'm not going to get into very much other than a quick down and dirty preliminary evaluation inspection, and that's about it. I just want to take a look to determine whether or not anything as far as mechanisms are concerned, levers, linkages, springs, you know, the main cam gear, subplate assembly, and all the levers and so forth are looking okay, that nothing is damaged, you know, bent, whatever the case, broken, excessively worn or whatever. So everything just right off the bat looks okay, but you know, I see the usual degraded lubricant on the bottom here. Some of it looks like it's just kind of worn away, and there was some new lubricant applied over here to these control levers, just a little bit. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really look like it might be a white lithium grease. It's kind of light, but whatever it is, it's okay. It just looks a little bit light in viscosity. But, and like I said, you don't want to use something too thick, you don't want to use something too thin. But anyways, not bad though. Somebody did try to lubricate this a little bit here, but again, the owner said that there's problems. And as for, let me see here, let me just, so let's see here. So nothing appears to be seized up here, and I did notice though, when I was flipping this over off camera, because you know I had to get the camera out of the way to get in here and kind of flip this around, but the tone arm lift spindle under here, it was a bit on the stiff side, so I think that something's going on in here. It seems kind of stiff. So that that tube in there is probably in need of being, you know, thoroughly cleaned out and relubricated and all that. So that may be one issue there. But again, until I really get in here and check things out, I'm not going to know for sure. But at least these mechanisms here aren't all bound up. But I'm sure they're going to benefit from cleaning and lubrication, of course. And everything will work a lot smoother. And of course, you know, there will have to be adjustments made and all that. Again, let me go ahead and flip this over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check the status of the motor, make sure the motor's not bound up or whatever the case, and go from there. I want to get the platter off and just take a look under there and see what's going on, and see if I can pinpoint that rubbing of the platter there. So let me go ahead and get her flipped over. Okay, so I popped the platter off real quick and messed around. I'll kind of get into this a little bit more in a minute, but everything is spinning a lot better. We don't have that nasty rub going on in there. I didn't notice anything that really stood out that was, you know, obviously rubbing on the inner rim of the platter. Let me go ahead and stop this and pull this off. I already pulled the clip off, obviously. So anyways, the only thing that I noticed was the bearing assembly here was not configured, you know, in its typical manner. From the bottom to top, you have a steel dimpled washer. Then I believe you have the a steel thrust washer, and then you have the thrust bearing itself, and then another steel thrust washer on top of that, and then in the platter hub itself you have this 9/16 plastic washer. But that's not how it was configured. I think it was the dimpled washer, and then the thrust bearing, and then another thrust washer, and then another thrust washer on top of that, and then the plastic washer. That's really about it. You could see there was some lubrication applied. This is new lubricant in here that was applied. So I'm going to redo this stuff though, and kind of clean it up a little bit when I start restoring this. And the the motor is, it's turning freely, which is good. There's nothing bound up there. And another thing I want to do when I start getting into this is I want to make sure that that this spindle hub and the spindle are level. I'm going to check all that and make sure that there's not a slight bend or anything like that. I don't think that's the case, but I'm not going to check right now because, like I said, I'm not really getting into this in depth right now. And also, too, my bench isn't perfectly level. I would have to get everything leveled and get the chassis all leveled out on a leveled bench, and then use a level and check the again, check the integrity of the spindle hub and the spindle itself, just to make sure that the platter has a nice straight hub to rotate on or rotate around. And but I'll get into that a little bit more, of course, when I start cracking into this thing. So that's about it. What I'm going to do right now is try to get some power to this real quick and just see if I can kind of get it to cycle and whatnot, and just see what it does. So let me go ahead and see what I can do there. So before I cut this video so that I can get some food stuff down my neck, I'm starving like Marvin, I came across some problems, and the idler assembly here, the idler wheel is rubbing on the screw that I'm pointing at here. The idler wheel is rubbing on it. There is a clearance issue when I adjust the idler height, the height of this idler wheel, with this idler adjustment screw back here. When I adjust the height of it to line it up properly with the bottom step of this stepped spindle, when it's in line properly with the bottom step, which is for the 78 RPM speed, that's when it's rubbing. And these are the original screws here, from what I can see, so it's not like somebody inserted some screws that were too high. So I don't know yet. I think it might be a combination of both the position of the stepped spindle on the motor shaft itself. I don't know if it needs to come up a little bit along with the actual motor. Now, the motor mounting grommets underneath the chassis here look to be fairly new. They seem to be a little bit short. I would have to compare them with some others, because by memory I don't really know the exact height of the grommets. They look a little shorter because there is a little bit of play, but oftentimes there is some play in those grommets. Okay, so that's not unusual for there to be some play, but I don't know off the top of my head if this is a little too much play. It's just a matter of some adjusting and experimentation to get the height correct on this stepped spindle here. So, like I said, when the idler wheel lines up where it should on this stepped portion down here for 78 RPM, there's let me just engage it. there you have it. Okay, and most of what you're hearing is, of course, the bottom of this idler wheel rubbing on that screw. Of course, if I change the speed, which in turn lifts the idler wheel and clears that screw, well then, and there's still a little bit of noise because, you know, part of the noise, well, what you were hearing earlier was the rubbing, but the noise you're hearing right now, that rubbing, some of that is because the idler wheel is as hard as a rock, okay? There's no more pliability to that rubber. I'm going to send out for a new idler wheel when I get into the restoration and all that, because that will always cause a little bit of noise, especially if there's a little bit of wear, warpage that is causing just slight vibration. Okay, because it's not the surface of the wheel isn't perfect, and you know, riding on that step the way it should. But you can see that the surface of the idler wheel is where it should be on the 45 RPM step. Then you have the 33 RPM step, and then you have 16 up here. When I first opened it up, the idler wheel was way off. Okay, so I adjusted the idler wheel height screw here to line it up so that it corresponds to the steps just fine. But of course, on 78 RPM, when it's bottoming out almost against the chassis, well, you got that screw there that it's rubbing on now. Again, that has to do with some clearances, like I said. One thing I'm going to also check as far as clearances are concerned, I'm going to have to check. Let me take this off real quick, because like I said, I think there's multiple things that are going on here. And if you look at the idler assembly, the idler arm and all that, when I drop it down to, let me see. Yeah, it's clearing now. It's clearing now, but this was rubbing a little bit, and I brought it up, and it's actually sitting where it should be now. So I think, yeah, actually I think this is fine. I think it was just where I found the idler screw adjusted the first time. It was kind of rubbing a little bit. Like I said, it wasn't adjusted properly to begin with. Let me swap out my battery yet again. These batteries aren't holding charges good nowadays, and I've been so busy I haven't gotten around to ordering new batteries and all that, so just bear with me. Okay, so like I said, so I think this is doing okay now, but regardless, so I'm going to go in here and check everything real good and make sure that everything is adjusted. You can see that I believe it was the owner that went in here and performed some re-lubrication, re-greasing of things and all that. I'm going to clean all that out and just redo it properly, put the correct amount, the right type of lubricant and all that stuff, and that way I'm you know, confident in the fact that everything was done according to spec. And so there you have it. Some of these mechanisms are still a bit sluggish. Another thing too is that when you go in here and re-lube things, you got to really thoroughly clean all the mechanisms, levers, and all that stuff. You can't just apply grease, because if there's still old grease and dirt and grime and all that stuff, sometimes that just compounds the problem. Even if you re-lubricate it, it's just not good, because there are some issues with things being sluggish still. I noticed that when I was messing around. If I kind of wiggle the speed control a little bit, you know, it drops in and out, and so some of that is adjustment that needs to be done. But I think that some of it is just the mechanisms, the levers and all that are still kind of sluggish or not responding. So when I wiggle things around, they kind of kick in and out. So there's all that kind of stuff going on in here. There's multiple things, but most of the problem, in summary, is within the you know, the idler assembly here. We need a new idler wheel for starters. You know, it's just, there's no pliability to this rubber anymore. I'm going to check, like I said, the you know, the clearance, the adjustment, the position of the step spindle, you know, the motor, and just get everything in alignment where it should be, and that will eliminate the noise in here, and you know, everything will be good to go. But that's still a while off yet. I'm gonna have to set this aside, but once I pull everything apart and just really get serious with it, this is a really nice candidate for a restoration. I really like the look of it. I think it's cool. So I'm gonna end it here, and you know, get on with other things I have to do. So as I always say, guys, peace, love, and music, and the vintage audio that brings it to our ears. Till next time, just stay tuned, and there'll be some more stuff hitting the bench shortly, and when I have time to film this stuff, then I'll be bringing some more videos. So again, take care of yourselves.
This is a poor man's shoe production.